All right, this is Daniel from Cop Watch, and the video that we're going to break down today is an officer-involved shooting that occurred last month, April of 2022, in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So this case is extremely controversial in the community, and the reason is because the individual who was involved, who was shot by the police officer, is a 75-year-old woman suffering from dementia in her own home that was armed with knives. Also, the family has come out and wants murder charges for the police officers.
Cop Watch is 5-6.
So here we are in Las Cruces, and here's the 911 call that family members made to the police.
911 emergency, what city?
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
What is the address or location for your emergency?
For FIR?
Okay. And what's going on?
I really need an officer, an ambulance, or someone because my mother's getting aggressive right now. She's 75 and she has dementia. I'm hiding in a room because she's threatening to kill me.
Does she have any weapons?
I don't know if she got weapons from the kitchen, and I have a little one here.
Child, I'm asking, are you with your child?
Yes, I'm with my child, but I'm freaking out right now.
And do you know if she's on any type of medication?
I'm not sure if she took her medication this morning. My daughter, she's in her room, and my mother's still out there with the knife.
Okay. So she does have a knife in her hand?
I believe so because it sounds like it. Yeah, she actually does have a knife.
Okay. And do you know what she's doing with the knife?
Hitting the floor, saying she's going to kill me.
Okay, man. They should be arriving soon, okay?
Do you know if an officer is also coming?
Yes, an officer will be there, and then we do have a medical unit on the way just in case.
Okay, thank you. Let's try throwing hot water now.
Hot water?
Yes. Mami, estás asustando a la niña.
Police department, can you guys step out for me?
Please be very. When officers arrive at a call for service like this, one of the main objectives is to separate the individual who is threatening or has a weapon from anyone else who might be in the house.
Set it down! Set it down now! Back up! Back up! Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
So the reason that officers would want to separate the individual who's threatening people or is armed with a weapon away from anybody else who might be in the house is because it takes away any more potential victims. And if necessary, police officers at that point can back off. They can set up a SWAT call. They can treat this as a barricaded subject. Essentially, the immediacy of the threat goes down once there are no other potential victims inside the house. So a reasonable question to ask is, why didn't the police officer utilize a taser instead of a firearm in this case? Well, Amelia was armed with a knife, and a knife is considered a deadly weapon. So it was appropriate and within all police training for the officer to have a firearm in his hand instead of a taser. Also, department policy does not allow police officers to have both a firearm and a taser in their hand at the same time. Police officers are dispatched to and involved in dynamic and rapidly evolving situations. Almost nothing is ideal. There is no circumstance that goes exactly as planned, exactly as is in training. But ideally, for a call for service like this, police officers would have a force array. What that is multiple officers with multiple different weapon systems. So some officers would have a firearm, maybe a 40 millimeter, and maybe a taser. In this situation, there was a second officer who arrived on scene, and this would have been a great situation for that second officer who arrived to have a taser and to possibly utilize that.
Back up now! Drop the knife!
Está enferma! ¡Está enferma!
Get back!
Okay, don't push me out!
Drop the fucking knife! Do it now! Drop the fucking knife!
I will take her.
He wasn't able to utilize the taser or any other less lethal options. So in a situation like this, it's too simple to say that police officers shot a 75-year-old woman and that it wasn't justified. It's also too simple to say that police officers shot a 75-year-old who was holding a knife, so it's undoubtedly justified. There's actually a middle position, a position that asks honest and uncomfortable questions. And here are some of the things that I would want to know. Some of the questions that are important to the investigation are, at the time that the officer arrived on scene, why did he go to the house alone and not wait for any backup? Also, it's important to know if at the time of the officer-involved shooting, did the officer know if there were other individuals inside the house, including a child? Also, these cases are evaluated not based on 20/20 hindsight, but they are investigated by what a reasonable officer would do in the moment. So the family did a press conference and publicly demanded that murder charges be filed against the police officer. So let us know what you think in the comments. Was this a justified officer-involved shooting? And if you want to watch the full video unedited, click the link.